Hey guys, what is going on? It is Livid. Hope you're all doing very well today. Today I wanted to showcase a couple of builds that you guys can use to clear Falcon Lost for the Assault Global event. I have 4 different builds to show you. 2 of them are full 6-piece classified sets, and 2 of them are actually Ninja Bike sets, and these are just blueprints. You can mix and match these however you want to. These builds also keep both the Happy and Piggy masks in mind. The only thing that's going to change on these builds, depending on which mask you're going for, are the skills that you use, and that is completely up to you. I use the exact same skills for all of the builds. I did live stream Falcon Lost on Monday. I'll make sure to leave a link to that in the description if you'd like to go and watch the run from start to finish. We do mess up here and there on the Happy mask, but we did end up getting it eventually. Really just having as much patience as possible is key, and I did upload a video yesterday of some tips that I have overall for just clearing this. It is one of the more complicated global events to do, so hopefully that video will be of use to you. So first things first, I think we'll start out with the skills because like I mentioned, I use the exact same skills across all of them. Again, you can swap the healing skills if you want to. The recovery link is definitely recommended, especially when you're going for Happy. If you're going for Happy, you don't have to be stingy with the recovery. Just use it if you're low HP. Don't let somebody go down. That's really all that matters. But for the skills that I use, I've chosen the EMP Sticky Bomb and the Gas Seeker Mine. The Gas Seeker Mine is actually extremely useful because when you're doing Falcon Loss for this GE, you only have to do it on challenging, and when you do that, you're going to spawn mostly veterans instead of elites. The veteran rarity enemies definitely are immobilized when they are disoriented, unlike elites. The elites will be disoriented for a moment and then they'll start moving around or taking cover, whereas the veterans will just stay in place, and it's for a very decent amount of time. So when you pair this Gas Seeker Mine with the Seeker Mine Explosion Radius mods, it is extremely beneficial for this global event. So if the vendors are selling any Gas Seeker Mine Radius mods, I would make sure to pick those up and equip those to whatever build you're using if you plan to use this skill, but I do highly recommend it. The EMP Sticky Bomb is extremely useful towards the final waves, as well as kind of in the middle when the drones start spawning in. You can EMP the drones as they spawn in. There's actually a separate commendation for this that you'll need just in the mission category anyway. So doing this will get that for you, and additionally, the EMP Sticky just helps out a lot against the medics, rogue agents, and the engineers towards the final waves. They do put down a lot of support stations and turrets, and this is going to disrupt them while you have time to either eliminate the one that's piloting it or eliminate the turret or medic station in general. The signature skill is completely up to you. It kind of depends on if you're going for more damage or if you are running the bomb. I usually say if you are either of the 2 players who are turning off turrets or running the bomb, that you guys should probably have a blue link on. That way if one person's is on cooldown, the other person can hit it for the other person. This is just extremely useful. It helps with your movement speed, and it does give you that damage resistance as well. But if you are running the Happy mask, you can absolutely just swap to a recovery link. You can swap any of these really to your preference. These are just what I've gone for. For the ability talents, you can use the medical wing ability talents. That's completely fine. Combat medic is really not optional here. Everybody should have combat medic on, and nobody should be getting stingy with medkits. Make sure you're hitting medkits for your teammates, even if they have a nomad proc. Just don't be stingy. Hit a medkit, keep your teammates alive. Critical save is also very useful here. Just helps you out with that damage resistance. Very useful. Make sure to have that equipped. There's a few different options that you can choose from here. I've chosen Steady Hands, mainly because I'm using an LVOAC instead of a Lightweight M4 on this account. I actually don't have the Lightweight M4 blueprint on this account, so since I'm using an LVOAC, the recoil is a bit harder to control. I'm also using an M700 Carbon as my secondary, so whenever I enter cover, it's going to give me that 25% reduced recoil, which will help me out with keeping stabilized bullets against the snipers across on the catwalk. And then I'm using Precision here just to give me an added damage boost because we don't have any pulses on the team, so Precision is going to give me a decent amount of crit chance and damage. Some other good ones that you could use are On the Move. This is just going to reduce your incoming damage. It's usually a good one to throw on. Another really good one to have if you're doing more damage is One is None. This is going to help you out with ammo conservation because we are on the platform for this. We do not do the tunnel. The tunnel in general is just a bad idea. So One is None is going to help us prevent the need to go and restock. I guess another talent you could consider is Strike Back. It's not that bad of a talent, but it's really not that necessary here. But if you do like it, you could have it on. That's pretty much everything for the skills, so let's go ahead and get into the build. The first one that I'm showcasing is a final measure build. This is primarily what I was using on my run on Monday. Again, I'll leave the VOD link to that in the description if you want to go and watch the full run. The only difference between that build that I ran on Monday and this one are the mods. I was using damage to elite mods here. Again, we're doing this on challenging difficulty. This does spawn very few elites, so damage to elite mods are kind of wasteful in my opinion. I decided to switch over to skill haste mods for this, and this is going to allow me to get my skills back faster to keep enemies disoriented for longer. You can swap mods out for anything that you'd like. You can do critical hit chance, health, and another really good one is signature ability resource gain. For the guns, like I said, I have an LVOAC with deadly, destructive, and predatory. Determined is a really good talent to have on the bottom slot. I would have preferred to have something with predatory on the top and determined on the bottom, but this is just the setup that I had. So I am using my cool-headed pistol to bring my skills back faster. It's really the only thing that I have this for. And then I do have a carbon. I did have a different talent here originally. I had disciplined instead of destructive, but destructive is going to give me that extra armor damage value. So I've decided to go with that. Elevated isn't really going to help you against the snipers across from you since they are technically higher up than you, but this will help with everything down below. Weapon attachments, just use whatever you're comfortable with. It's really not that big of a deal. For the gear rolls, I have skill haste everywhere I believe that's possible for this. And then for the mask, I did decide to go with enemy armor and damage to elites just because this is technically the best in slot attribute rolls for this. I have a pretty good mix of everything here. I have some health on the backpack, some health on the chest piece, as well as health on the knee pads. This is just going to let me survive for a bit longer. I have disrupt resistance here. Ammo capacity would probably be better. Another alternate variation of this that you could do that I don't showcase here is actually using the nimble holster. The nimble holster is a really good high-end piece in general to just slot in for this. Since you are on the platform, you would be able to nimble from cover to cover and regain that HP. Really good high-end piece to slot into really any of the builds that you're trying to do for this. So this is one of the builds. Final measure is just really useful to have against the mortars. The next build that I have is going to be a 6-piece nomad build. You don't have to have a full 6-piece. You could do something like a Barrett's chest piece. You could use a refreshed mask or savage gloves. Really whatever you would like to do here would work fine. I have the exact same guns, the exact same skills and talents and everything, and I believe the mods for this are going to be critical hit chance, so this one does give me a little bit more damage output. All of the gear is rolled towards enemy armor damage and damage to elites. I do have health on the knee pads as well as some stability on the backpack. I could probably change stability to something else, but this little extra stability does help out, and that's honestly it. You could swap again these pieces out however you would like to. Nomad is going to help you out a lot in case you get one tapped by snipers. It's going to give you that extra life, but again, you'll only have one, but on the off chance that snipers are spamming you, that one life will save you and give you that damage resistance. The next variation that I have is a final measure ninja bike build hybrid. We have 4 pieces of final measure. I have 1 piece of D3 and 1 piece of tactician. Using the ninja bike, it gives us the 2-piece bonus with D3, which is protection from elites. Again, we are doing this on challenging difficulty, so this isn't going to come into play too much, but it could help you out here and there. And this is another instance where you can again just move the tactician piece over to your knee pads and use the nimble holster instead. Pretty much all of the builds that I'm showing you guys, the nimble holster will work. Again, nimble is just a really strong piece for this GE. Make sure to craft one if you don't have one and use it if you need it. I would even say that you could hot swap to it if you really need some HP. You could just take cover and make sure to equip the holster as quickly as you can and then go from cover to cover to get that health boost. You will of course need to be in combat for that to come into play, but that's just an example of what I'm talking about. And the last ninja bike hybrid that I have here is a striker nomad hybrid. I originally had 1 D3 piece on here instead of the nimble, but I agreed that the nimble holster is just too good to pass up for this. To pair it with the nimble holster, you could actually use the tactical advance ability talent, which is going to increase your damage for every 2% meter covered up to a maximum of 30%. Just keep in mind that this is only for 5 seconds, so it's not going to give you that much value of a boost, but you can just spam this if you want to, and you'll have that damage boost for as long as you can maintain it. Striker is going to give us that extra enemy armor damage and stability, as well as consecutive hits giving us more damage output, so this is just a really good option to have. The 1-piece nomad is going to give us the 2-piece bonus with ninja, giving us health on kill, and then the nimble holster is going to give us some extra sustainability. You can again swap this out for 1 D3 piece if you'd like that extra damage to elites. You could also use 1 piece of tactician if you would like to give you some extra skill haste. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much the builds. Just use these as a blueprint. You don't, again, have to have like the exact same build setups that I have. Just use these as a baseline and go from there. I'm hoping you guys are enjoying the global event and that you guys are getting your masks. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, just leave them down below. Thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.
Can't believe the bullshit that went down in the dark zone at the end there.
I know. We had it. Everything I told them was dead on. They made us pull out anyway.
And we left our dead behind.
Yeah, we're not supposed to do that. Hang on a second.